Okay. Right, so we're going to start this morning with a plank. We all know the plank, but I'm just going to give you some modifications as well. And we're going to hold 40 seconds as we have been doing and do 3 rounds of each exercise. So you've got a few modifications. We can either, I'll just show you those to start off with. We can either do a full plank where our knees are off the floor and we're holding nice straight through the body. So we're looking at that line through the body and making sure the hips are in line. Or we can bring the knees down onto the ground and again hold. We're looking down at the floor. Or we can have our ankles crossed like this just to make it a little bit more challenging. So you've got 3 options there. And remember as well, we can always come into a different option partway through if your form's starting to go. So we're going to do 40 seconds. Make sure the hands are underneath the shoulders. So we've got a nice strong base. And just try and push back in the heels as well. So we can get a really nice long body. And just drawing that navel up. So we're engaging the core and pressing down through the fingers as well to give you that stability. Making sure those hips don't dip down. If you want to here and you are in this position, you can maybe lift one leg up and then the other. We'll do that one more time. 1 and then 2, nice and stable, and then we'll lower down. Okay, and then the next exercise we're going to do is the cat extension. So it's a bit more working on the obliques, which is these side abdominals here. So we're going to take out one leg and the opposite arm, and then just bring the knee in and the elbow in like that. And then we're going to do alternate. So we're going to do that way in and then back to center, and then alternate in and then back to center. I'll get it sorted in a minute. Okay, so 40 seconds of that one. So we're going in, we're not arching through the spine, we're trying to keep that nice and neutral, and then bringing the head to the knee, and then just lowering. And then on the other side, stretching nice and long through the body, bringing the knee in, and then stretch out again, and then back to neutral. And then on the other side, looking down whilst we're doing this as well, so we keep that nice long spine. Bringing the knee in, and really feeling the abdominals engaging when you do this exercise. Okay, we're going to do one more on each side. So I think I started on that side. Nice long through the body, squeezing in, and then lowering. Okay, and then the next exercise we're doing is a Russian twist. So this exercise is quite a challenge, and it can be a little bit risky if we don't do it right. So I'm just going to give you a few pointers. It's a bit like we're in that boat pose that we've been doing. So a boat pose, we're trying to keep the chest nice and open, we're engaging through the core, and we're thinking about a nice neutral spine. So what can happen is if we're not strong enough to hold this position in the core, we'll start kind of rounding, and that's when it's dangerous, because your spine is then kind of in a vulnerable position, and then we're adding twisting into it. It could be, if you're not engaged in the core, then it could be a little bit risky. So if you do feel like you're rounding through the spine, then just come into boat pose and just open up like this. So there's a couple of ways you can do the Russian twist. We can either do it with our feet on the ground and we're holding here and then coming from side to side, or we can lift our feet up off the ground, but only do this if you can feel that your spine's neutral and it's not starting to round out. Okay, so we're going to do 40 seconds. And we're going to keep breathing. And again, if your spine does feel like it's rounding, then just drop your feet down to the ground. It's totally fine. So again, we're moving into the side of the abdominal wall here. So we're using slightly different muscles. We're halfway through. Stick with it. If you need to drop your feet down, if your spine's rounding, do that. Or you can go into boat pose, just holding. And release. Okay, and then the last exercise of the round is a press up. So again, we've got some modifications. We can either do a modified press ups where we've got our knees on the ground and we're coming down and up, or we can cross the ankles, make it a little bit more challenging, or we can come into a full press up. Again, that's another more challenging. So we're going to do 40 seconds. Again, you can modify partway through if you want to. We're 10 seconds, so halfway. And I'm going to modify for the last few. Pressing down through the fingers. And last one, and coming up. And just release back onto the ankles. And we're going to come into a plank. So, whichever position you want to be in, just holding and breathing, making sure that those hands are underneath the shoulders, pressing through the fingers, keeping the hips nice and high, keeping a support through the shoulders as well. So we don't want to be dropping in the shoulders. We want to be engaging in the arms as well. And we've got 10 seconds left. So remember, you can come down if you want to, modify your exercise so that it works for you. We're all different. And release down. Well done. Okay, so the next one is the cat extension. So again, knees under the hips, pressing the fingers into the floor. You can spread your fingers out here, and then we're doing alternate arm to leg, bringing them in, and then swapping sides. So remember, we're stretching through the body. We're not arching through the spine, trying to keep that spine neutral, so we're looking down at the floor. Squeezing the knee in, and then coming back to the neutral position. Neutral all fours before swapping sides. Try and push that heel back as well when you straighten your leg. And last one. And back to all fours. Okay, and then we're going into the Russian twist again. So just get yourself in position, make sure your spine is nice and neutral. And then from side to side, remember, you can put your feet down if you want to. If you need to, because you might feel like you're rounding, you're losing that engagement in the core. That's what keeps you safe. That's what keeps the movement safe, is by using those core muscles. If they're not quite strong enough yet, then it's better to modify, because there's a lot of pressure going through your spine here if you're not engaging your core properly. A few more left. And release. And then final exercise is the press ups, and then we're going to go through the set again. So into your press up position and lower. Trying to keep the elbows close into the body if you can. I'm not feeling it today. Pressing through the fingers. Few more left. And last one. Good job. Okay, so we're back into the plank. And this is our final round. So just have a little breath before we go into the next round. So breathing out and then coming into that plank position. So hands underneath the shoulders, pushing the heels away, taking some nice breaths here, engaging the core, drawing the navel up. So we've got a good neutral position here, and we're looking down at the floor so that we're not arching in the neck. Trying to keep some space across the upper back. We've got 10 seconds left. If you need to come down, modify it in any way you can do. And then we release onto all fours. And we're coming into that cat extension position. So knees under hips, hands under shoulders, pressing through the fingertips, and we're taking alternate arm to leg, squeezing in, and then release. Alternate leg, squeezing in, release. So remember, try and push the heel back if you can. I keep forgetting. So push the heel back, nice long through the spine, and then squeezing in, engaging that core. And we've got a couple more. And release down. Awesome. Okay, so again, we're coming into the Russian twist position. So onto your bottom, lifting the feet off the floor or keeping them down. And we're coming from side to side, or we can hold boat pose if you want to. It's your choice, it's your call. Be aware of what's happening in your body. Working the oblique muscles in the side of the core. Halfway through. And we've got a few left. So remember, if you need to modify, if you need to come down, take a break, so you can re-engage, you can do. And then we're all going to come down. And then we're going into that press up, the last press ups. So whichever version you want to do. I'm going to stick with modified this time and keeping the elbows into the side. Pressing through the fingers, looking down at the floor so that you're keeping a nice alignment through the spine. Keep it going. A few more left. And last one. Okay, awesome. Okay, so just push back onto the heels. And you might want to take your knees wide, and we're just going to press into the fingertips and push our hips back onto the heels. So we're keeping engagement in the shoulders at the moment, and then we're just going to drop down and release. Okay, so we'll just do, because we did the press ups, I'm just going to do a little shoulder stretch, which we did last time, I think, or we have done before. We're just going to thread one arm through the other and just release down onto that shoulder to feel a nice release in that area. You can look towards the hands that's threaded through. So you're relaxing the neck. And we're just going to push up and then come to the other side. So we're threading the other arm through, looking towards that other arm. And relaxing down. Take one more breath here and then come back up to all fours. So breathing in and out. Then coming back to all fours. We'll just walk the knees in. And well done. Thanks for joining me again. I hope you have a great day. And I'll see you again on Saturday, I think.